Greetings and welcome once again to Roman of the Empire. I am your host, Roman. Tonight we're going to be talking about Stanley Kubrick's classic dark comedy, Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. This is, I think, one of Kubrick's best films. I know there's going to be a lot of debate about that, but having been in the military for a minute and understanding the time period in which this movie was made, it is not a roll around grabbing your sides laugh movie, but it is a very funny movie. That's dark humor. You know, that's what we have in the military. If not for dark humor, we would just sit around and weep all the time. So we're going to talk about this. This should be a very fun discussion, I think. At least I hope it is. For the few of you who are with us tonight, and I hope more of you will be. I know not a lot of people who know who this movie is. So this, if you haven't seen it, this is a good chance to learn about the movie and go, you know what? That sounds like something I might want to watch. As long as you have a deep sense of sarcasm and understand what satire is. If you don't, then this may not be the movie for you. But without further ado, we'll roll through, say hi to everybody, and then get into the conversation here. With me, as always, he is my wingman. He is my partner on this channel. He once stopped me from bombing Laputa ICBM complex inside of Russia because they were going to blow it up. And he didn't want to activate the Doomsday Machine. He is Shield Wall of Dragons. Welcome back, sir. How are you tonight?
Hey, how's it going? Well, you do have a cowboy hat on, so I was going to say you could have,
I do. This is in honor of Slim Pickens.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, glad to be here with everybody. Yeah, interesting movie. You got to see it to like really experience it. We can try to describe it to you, but we will never do it justice without you actually seeing the movie. It's so kind of unique. And it has some pretty funny moments, but it also has some somewhat serious ones. It's pretty interesting. I like the interiors of the B-52. It looks so real, especially same with the Bombay, with the wiring and all that stuff that he's messing with in there later in the film. It looks just like you would be in the Wilwell or the Bombay or whatever. So it's pretty cool. Did a really good job with that. Also, I like his portrayal of the president.
Based on Adlai Stevenson, by the way.
Adlai
Stevenson. For those of you who know who he is.
Who, Adlai Stevenson was the one that confronted the Russians about the putting nukes in Cuba at the UN, and very soft-spoken guy, but he put the wood to him during that, which was great to see. Unfortunately, he died like a year later.
Also true.
Yeah, from cancer. But anyway, great to be here, ready to get into it. And hi, Mrs. Sparkles.
Yep, right on. Again, you may notice we are a little bit downsized tonight. Sammy is off to MegaCon. Joker has lost the Joker voice, so he isn't going to be hanging out tonight. And Dempsey is having his own problems right now, which I'm not going to go into, but I'm going to tell you, they're not good. So, but we got the rest of it. We got the rest of our friends here. The goat was supposed to be with us tonight, but she had a baby. Well, not she. Her goat had goats, more goats.
Yeah.
So she's dealing with goat stuff right now. So it's anyway. So that's where everybody is. You're curious? Well, that's where they are. But without further ado, he is the meme master of the interweb, using his power for evil instead of good 150% of the time. He is Jacob Ironside. Welcome back, young sir. How are you tonight?
I'm well. I just watched this movie for the first time. So there's that. Got memes. That's a good thing. And
always. Well, I say always.
For Joker.
That's not
for Joker, since he's not here. For Joker.
For Joker.
For the scissor brother that is not with us at the moment.
Even now, I cannot escape that motherfucking thing. She will tell you if this is the way. Books, games, or movies. She is armored up and ready to fight. She is Untamed Mando. Welcome back, Mando. Nice to have you with us. How's the dog?
He's quiet now. So for those of you wondering, I have a beagle. Beagles are very barky, howly dogs. A squirrel walked by. He decided to bark at it, and the bark collar, of course, buzzed. And then he, being the dramatic beagle that he is, and then it shocks or buzzes him again, and he goes and it buzzes him again, and it just kind of keeps going on and so forth and so on. He's starting to get the hang of it. He instead of most of the time, instead of doing like an actual like howl or bark, he goes "Burf" at things, and it's hilarious.
And remember, folks, it is a vibrating collar. She is not pulling a Hassan. Parker, please do not write the show saying such. It's not the same. It's not the same. Probably.
I will neither confirm nor deny any of that information.
Or it could be a fire.
Flaming beagle seen running through the wild. Or write the show. It's fine. He is the man who knows all the things about all the... What in the fuck was that? Sorry, there was a noise.
No.
In the garage. It was odd. All the things. He is the thigh that shouldn't be the unbearable 73. He is the bladder bursting Terminator. That's unfortunate. Our good friend Matt. Welcome, sir. How have you been? How are you doing this week? I'm going to go off camera briefly to see what fell in the background.
Other than the good old bladder, my bladder, which is problematic right now, doing okay, fairly okay. You know, medical treatment's overall okay, except for one thing related to my bladder. As far as this movie goes, I've said I'll tell people if you have not read any of the movie books or watched any of the movies in this genre, you'll probably enjoy this more than if you had seen the 7 or 8 other movies like this, like they'll say the what was that nuclear bomb movie in the 80s? The Day After.
The Day After. Fuck
yeah, The Day After. Yep.
Yeah. Bunch of whiny bitches says that movie was
the other people who might enjoy this film, obviously Kubrick fans, but the other people who might enjoy this film are people looking at it for a, I guess you would say a historical context. Like let it lead you to actual information, which is not so much present in the movie.
Yeah.
Roman has returned. It was not an army of giant spiders trying to take him out.
No, I don't know what it was. Yeah, there was a noise in the here in the studio of the Empire, and I don't know what was.
The raccoons are invading.
That's how they.
So it's
the raccoons.
Not good. If that was a fucking spider, I've got bigger problems out here than you.
Yeah, you somehow been teleported to Australia.
Well, Newsom has gone from his reptile human suit to a
very strange. You know. Also, I am in black and white tonight in honor of the movie. Okay, this is not a technical problem, which is always possible.
We would have known because you would have come back saying them.
Actually, Roman has to pay a special color tax out in California now. So from here on out,
exactly. Yeah, gotta pay an extra $5 color.
Let's say hello
to
all of our friends, and it is a little bit of a thin audience tonight, but I hope some more of you folks come and watch us. It's our good friend Joker Boys, watching from his padded cell in Arkham. It's not taco night. Oh, it's meatloaf night. That is unfortunate.
Meatloaf's not that bad.
Oh no, meatloaf is what Satan would feed you directly from his asshole if he was mad at you. So. I'm just saying. Go ahead.
Have you guys seen the new? I saw like a clip of it. The new Ted show where Ted's the stuffed bear, and he's like living with the family, and the one guy's like talking about eggs making you gay.
What's the movie?
It's awesome. You got to see it.
I
It's
have
about
not
eating
seen
brunch. It's about brunch and
Oh, okay. All right, I can see that. I can see that. No, that's true. I have never watched Firefly.
Shame.
I have
Shame.
not seen it.
Shame. Shame.
So to
I know
answer
it
your
exists.
question, Zach's, I had planned on it, but my car had lots of car troubles, and so all of the money that I had put towards MegaCon went towards a vehicle.
That's unfortunate.
Weird.
Sorry.
Weird.
Frank Eakley, welcome, Frank. Always good to see you out there, sir. Miss Sparkles here causing trouble, and we appreciate that, Miss Sparkles. We absolutely do. And this was, I don't think FKHC 2005 is with us. If you are, welcome. This comment got dropped like way
in the beginning. It was like an hour.
I think he may not have realized the time zone issue. And MegaCon, no. The only thing I go to, Zach's, on that note, is the meetup in Vegas, which this year, given that it is now in August vice April, I'm not sure. There's a lot of things going on in my life anyway that make me not sure, but the August thing makes me less sure. So don't know. And then there's Comic-Con out here, which I may visit, but will not be in proper attendance because I don't.
So they've switched the Vegas meetup to August.
Yeah.
Because
there was a
WrestleMania.
conflict with one of the wrestling events.
WrestleMania was making everything like the hotel rooms and all were going to be sky high and all that.
Yeah. So. Unfortunate. I really don't want to be there in Vegas in August. So it is what it is. So anyway, that's everybody who's watching.
The Backstreet Boys concert.
I can't though. I can't because I'm not gay.
I hear something.
Oh Lord, Jacob. Thank you for pulling me out, Jacob. I was about to dive in. Rio, welcome. I was gonna dive into that bitch, as they say.
You're gonna dive in,
and then Jacob
yelled sharks.
So without further ado, it's time for
Heavenly shades of memes are falling. It's in time.
It is the meme time, brought to you by our good friend Jacob Ironside. Let's see what he's done to us this week. How airplanes are made. That's pretty good. That's the opening of the movie, and that is a direct sexual innuendo. The movie
there's
did that.
Shield wall on the airplane.
Well, shield wall getting fucked. By the Air Force.
Yep.
I mean, Chair Force is the thing. So.
But that was the whole opening sequence. It's like it goes on for a long time, and it's just the refueling, and it's like, it's not subtle. And if you don't get it, then this is how where do babies come from? That's just show them that. Oh, Sammy's hot.
Aw.
Too bad you're not here.
Right. I did really like that swimsuit. I can't rock that, but I love that for her.
It was kind of hilarious. I also didn't understand, and they just left it like with no context, why she is in a swimsuit, why he's wearing like a Hawaiian shirt and Bermuda shorts. They're in DC. It's just totally no context. It's funny. Why?
They were laying for baby
at 3:00 in the morning.
I thought that they had just come back. I guess in my mind, I filled in the blanks thinking, oh, they probably just got back from a vacation from Hawaii.
No, that's just some stuff people did in the 60s. Like they couldn't go
weird
anywhere.
shit, yeah.
They couldn't go anywhere, so they just made it at home. Literally.
We got Taco Bell at home. Vegas, 3 a.m., 90 degrees. This is what I'm talking about. This is not selling the whole Vegas thing on to me. Oh, thank you. Oh my God, that's a funny one. That didn't make it into the movie. That is some deleted. That is great. I would have
nice hair.
His Nazi possessed arm.
Yeah. So yep. So that is called. There's actually phrase for it here. I don't know what the hell is it called. Give me a second. Let me find it. Because it's funny. Well, it's funny. Not, I guess if you have it, that would be unfortunate. But it's a syndrome where the hemisphere is kind of operating here. It's agnostic apraxia, also known as alien hand syndrome, caused by damage to the corpus callosum, the nerve fibers that connect the brain's two hemispheres. And researchers at the University of Aberdeen who identified it, named it Dr. Strangelove syndrome.
Wow.
It's so good.
So obviously they didn't discover the syndrome till after the movie.
Till after the movie, yeah. Oh no.
Oh. That's gonna be an awkward conversation.
that is awkward. They have to swap fluids to protect them. Jack, I don't know about that. That doesn't sound like a good idea to me, old Jackie. That sounds like a horrible idea.
Were you tortured?
If you need help, blink 3 times.
That was an uncomfortable scene. He's just way too close.
Yeah.
He just looks at him like, not so good. Not so good.
I love that hairstyle on you. I think you should try and grow your hair out like that.
I
Get like a
sell that to
toupee.
Mrs. of the Empire. I believe she's watching tonight. So, honey, can I do that? That'll be the next one.
Why do you have your hair like that?
When I was younger,
Don't ask questions.
my hair used to do that. To the point where when I got to my 3rd duty station, the guy in charge,
Oh no!
he started calling me Dr. Strangelove because my hair.
Dang.
Oh, that's
Dang.
great, dude.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, Joker.
I don't know. I can imagine you saying, "Excuse me, Roman, bend over."
No, not all the alcohol in Vegas will accommodate that. Yikes and yikes. Thank you. I can walk. Oh, Larry.
Yeah, that's the guy. That was, yeah.
Poor Dempsey. We would have enjoyed that. Bat guano.
That's back when,
How is that so accurate?
yeah.
Roman, that's what you're gonna look like in like the next 5 years.
I was gonna say that's on its way. Let's not kid ourselves. Actually, I think we have the same glasses. Is the worst part about this? That's actually a fairly just right now accurate picture.
Wow.
Yeah, it's coming, folks. It's coming. Oh, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
That's
You
totally
ever see
bad.
those kids that are coming in and whoa?
Look, my head looks a little oversized for that body, but sure.
I love that character so much.
The standard, what the fuck, Roman face.
That's when Dr. Strangelove is discussing the underground bunkers where you're gonna have to have 10 women for every male to try to repopulate the species.
Yep.
It's
Which-
like it's a
yeah.
little late
Interesting
for that.
fact. They were going
The
to make
bombs are
me.
coming.
Oh no, there was the timing on it didn't work at all. But the idea was sound. In 1995 they were considering making a part 2, which focused on Dr. Strangelove in the underground bunkers with all these women. I don't know how it worked out.
Oh
They ended up
no.
not making it, but
They wouldn't make it now.
Oh,
Always
for
send someone
sure.
over there, maybe like that somewhere.
oh no, these are different names. Big Johnson and I
Dr.
can't see what the other one.
Yes, leaker.
Is it something about Bass Breaker? I don't know what it says.
I just see AF.
An ass beaker.
Breaker.
Who is that? Who is that
Right
down
next
there?
to a Big Johnson.
That is Joker.
Oh, is that Joker? Oh, poor fella.
Yippee-ki-yay.
the in a movie full of absurd scenes, this was the most absurd scene.
I don't know.
But
I
it
can
was
see
what-
some sort of Marine doing that.
Well,
I fell
When it-
out on the
when it-
rocket. Might as well.
When it happens, it almost in the movie it's a little bit unexpected. Like he's doing stuff, and then all of a sudden it
Right.
just drops, and you're like, "Whoa!" I thought he was going to like get off of the thing.
yeah, without context, the scene doesn't make a lot of
Yeah.
sense. Even with context, it doesn't make tons of sense.
Yeah,
But
and James Earl Jones in this.
yeah. This is one
Yes.
of his
Whoa.
first roles.
this is his first role. Kubrick
Yeah.
saw it was a play with he and George C. Scott, and hang on, I actually have the stuff handy for a change.
Oh,
You're
A Man
prepared?
for All Seasons. No, not. no, that's funny. I like the idea. No, it was A Man for All Seasons, and it was George C. Scott and James Earl Jones in it. And
That was
Kubrick
a
saw
play,
it. He
right?
liked it like James Earl. Yeah, stage
Yeah.
play. So he brought and another funny thing about James Earl Jones in this role, and we'll get to it in a sec, is that he thought Slim Pickens was just staying in character all the time, not realizing that was just Slim Pickens.
Yeah.
So pretty funny,
Good.
pretty funny.
James Earl Jones played Othello in a play. I would love to see that.
Oh, I'm sure that would have been great. All right, so we'll get rolling here into the movie, and they run this whole thing right before the film. It is the stated position of the United States Air Force that their safeguards would prevent the occurrence of such events as depicted in this film. Furthermore, it should be noted that none of the characters portrayed in this film are meant to represent any real persons, living or dead. Wink, wink. There's a lot of people in this movie who are supposed to be
allegory.
their takes on other people, and that
Mhm.
happens all the time. That's not an uncommon occurrence to say it would be silly, but this is just the fake lie thing, saying, "Yeah, we're not doing that. That's just stupid."
That would be
And
That's
untrue.
the whole opening scene here. One, I mean, we're going to talk about the shooting, the way the film is shot. I just found it, the black and white in this movie is just so stark, and it just jumps right off at you. It's not a dull black and white. It is a very contrasting black and white, and it visually, it's very appealing to me. And this is another sequence. You're getting a little talk over here. They're talking about the Russians, were working in this area, cloaked in the fog, this island chain, and no one knew what they could possibly be doing out there. And then they go into the movie, and it starts in with like this jazz music over the whole opening credits. That is not even mildly subtle. Leave that up there for just get the impact of it, folks. Okay. And they go into a long refueling sequence, and it's just funny. Very sexual innuendo stuff, like we talked about at the beginning. It's funny. It's not like, again, not laugh out loud, roll around funny, but funny. Peter Sellers nominated for Best Actor, played 3 separate roles. This movie won no Academy Awards, even though it was also up for Best Oscar, or for Best Film. Sterling Hayden, who plays General Ripper, had been retired for 5 years. And Kubrick, suckered him into this. But he really, I don't think you can even imagine anybody else in the role after seeing him portray him. Keenan Wayne as Colonel Bat Guano, and of course Slim Pickens as Major Kong, King Kong. James Earl Jones in his first movie, a bunch of other cats who are just kind of in there. The music by
I was going to say some of the flight crew have been in other movies.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these guys were kind of standard 60 guys you saw in a lot of things.
Yeah.
So,
TV shows.
Laurie Johnson did the music for this. She did a great job. Again, editor, production design. This is great. Production design, we talk about when we get to the scenes where we're inside the B-52, we're going to spend a little bit of time there hanging out. There were only 3 major sets built for this film. The War Room, which we'll get to see, the B-52, and then another soundstage that contained the general's office and the hotel that you see General Turgison hanging out in. So the writers here, so Peter George wrote the book Red Alert, and he worked on the screenplay as well. The novel Red Alert, not a comedy, by the way. It was comedic adapted from a straightforward novel. They had a lot of stock footage stuff going here, and I think that might actually be a matte painting. If I'm not positive.
It looks like it. Yeah,
that's what I thought too. I got that vibe from it.
Yeah,
and a lot of the B-52's taken off.
That's just B-roll.
Yeah, 100%. In the control center here, lots of things written on boards, machines beeping and clicking. And then the phone rings. And this is where we get introduced to General Jack Ripper. Get it, Jack?
This is back when
his name was actually Jack D. Ripper.
This is back when they had like massive offices with like a shower and a bathroom attached to it and all that. Nowadays,
that's an impressive office.
It is a very impressive office.
But it's also got like all the shit you would expect to have in a military office. Again, production design here is very, very well done.
Right. He's got his "I love you" wall up there.
Yep. Exactly. And again, while it is a comedy, it's a dark comedy, and it has a lot of dramatic aspects. Let's not kid ourselves. The look of it is entirely authentic if you've ever been in these environments.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we get introduced to hang on here. Obviously it's Peter Sellers. Here he is. He is Group Captain Lionel Mandrake. And he's on the foreign exchange program, and he is actually General Ripper's XO. And it all starts off with this call, where Ripper's like, Group Captain Mandrake, do you recognize my voice? Yes, General Ripper. We literally just spoke like moments ago. It's funny you should ask. You must realize it's important. If I'm asking if you recognize my voice, Mandrake, and that's where it all starts from. He wants to know if the planes have reached, the B-52s taken off, have reached their fail-safe destination, which is the point at which going forward, they're going to be going into mission objective stuff. They just hang out at their fail-safe spot. All of them are 2 hours outside of a position in Russia, according to the film.
Right. They would do drills back then.
Mm-hmm.
And they would do alert takeoffs and stuff. And the crews never knew if it was real or not, just so they would stay sharp. Then they would go to the designated areas and they would loiter until they got the recall or the go. And the alert thing was really a big deal on the base, to the point where if you went to like the theater, the chow hall, the base exchange, all that had lights on the sides of them, especially in the theater, where it said alert. And if that came on, everyone would know, hey, they're scrambling, get out to your designated areas. Because there were different kinds of alert. There was like 30-minute, 15-minute, sitting hot alert, where you just sat in the plane waiting, depending on what the threat level was.
Hurry up and wait.
Yeah. But this was the height of Strategic Air Command, back when they were really, had a lot of stuff going on.
Well, this is when they were beginning to go so quick but rough history. Up until like 1953 or something like that, there were like maybe 6 nuclear bombs on the whole Earth, and the U.S. had 5 of them. 53, maybe 52, somewhere in 54, somewhere in there. Like 55. Anyway, then the whole nuclear expansion happened when the Soviets decided they had to create the Great Defense, or whatever they called it. So, but the Soviets didn't get their gigantic stockpiles to like the mid to late 60s. They were under the impression that the U.S. had like 10,000 nuclear bombs by the mid 50s. Okay. So I want to say in 1958 or 59, the U.S. passed 1,000 warheads. At the year this movie was released, the U.S. had hit about 10,000, between 10 and 15,000 warheads. And they'd evolved a command structure which would make some of the actions in this movie virtually impossible. So that will be some of the criticisms of the movie from a military point of view. It's still very entertaining and thought-provoking in how it examines how humans might deal with this stuff, as opposed to the function to pull. I mean, I was watching so the Twilight Zone had like 3 different eras, like the 60s, the 80s, and the 90s. I remember it, and they were all adaptations of short stories, at least through those 3 eras. And there was a woke Twilight Zone from like 2010 or whatever. In the 80s, they had a story about 2 dudes who were in a nuclear missile silo, right? Yeah, somewhere in the Midwest. And they went through the whole thing. They were getting the codes. And these guys were like one guy had a young family, and the other guy, his kids were grown. So they were like a senior and a junior. And as they went through in the story, they're like getting to go get missions ready to launch, blah, blah, blah. At the end of it, it's a drill, right? And then they put it down and go, ooh, can't deal with this. Because thank God they drill us on this like 3 or 4 times a month. Can you imagine the heart attack level of soldiers? Like man.
Well, that's a stressful job. That being in that position.
Well, the bomber pilots go through the same thing back then. In the other movie
back then is never just back then.
Yeah.
The amount of Cold War tension was particularly high at this point, but
yeah. The other movie that Kubrick sued over, Failsafe, based on the other book, you can see the actors, the way they portrayed the tension. The commander trying to assert authority in a situation. Or what was the movie with Denzel Washington and Gene Hackman, the submarine movie?
Oh, Red Tide.
Yeah, how they were portraying that conflict. Remember, they both had to agree to launch.
Crimson Tide. I'm sorry, Crimson Tide.
Yeah, they both had to agree to launch the missiles. That was the big element. So how does command authority stay intact in light of potential world-ending duties? Like, imagine any of us were sitting there with the button, and we got that last code to press the button, and we had to press that button, and then it pops up, drill completed, blah, 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 I have a heart attack. You would see me, that'll be it.
So we are introduced to the kind of the plot of the movie is introduced right here. Colonel Ripper tells Group Captain Mandrake that the base is going to condition red. They need to send the alert profile R, or mission profile R, is to be carried out by the bombers. The bombers are just switching over to secure communications. And in order for anybody to communicate with the bombers, they have to have a very specific 3-letter prefix which precedes any message coming in. Otherwise, the bombers will not receive it. So it's a very complex system. That once the bombers are in this configuration, if without that 3-letter prefix, no one can get through to them, and they will fly their mission until it is complete. So that's
right.
Where
they'll ignore all other like open comms or anything.
And the general also orders Group Captain Mandrake to confiscate all radios on the base, of which the general already has a catalog of who has them, which was kind of funny. So cutting off the base entirely from outside communication.
Right.
And here's where we're going to get introduced to the flight crew. And this is just awesome. We get a lot of stock footage with the B-52s. Stuff that's not stock footage. It was a 10-foot model put in front of a moving background. Is how they did the shots. for the effect. Pretty good.
So keep in mind that not these exact planes, but the B-52 with mods and upgrades is still flying.
Yeah, I was gonna make that point. Like, it's cool. Like, my brother, he's since retired from the army and stuff, but he's told me a little bit about like the B-52s and stuff, and he was like, "Yeah, I got transported in one time." I was like, "Hi, Grandpa," because yeah, like the B-52s have been around for a long time.
Well, the truth of the matter is that's true of a lot of our aircraft. Many of them go back, at least as far as airframe, not specifically that serial number aircraft,
right?
But the model of aircraft go back a very long way. I mean, when I was working back in the early 2000s, the squadron I was working at still had 46s, H-46s, that were used in Vietnam. So, I mean, they stick around. But that brought me to a point that C-135 or KC-135 we saw doing the refueling in the beginning of the movie. That crashed about 18 months before this movie actually was released. It was kind of like, wow, that's an interesting, sad fact. But anyway, so here we are inside the cabin of the B-52. Shield, do you want to talk about this a little bit for what they did for production?
Well, so they used the cockpit of a B-29 as a framework, and then they looked at some aviation books that had photographs in it of the B-52, because the Air Force wasn't going to help them with it because they didn't like how the story was going to go and stuff, right? So but using just those pictures, they were able to make this look very real, to the point that Kubrick was afraid that they had done something illegal to get a hold of the of how it looked, like spy stuff, basically. And their uniforms, their equipment, how all the stuff looks on the inside, all those circuit breakers behind this guy, all the switches and lights, for the most part, it looks authentic. And that this does not look fake. This doesn't look cheesy at all. Looks really good. And the crew positions are in the correct way. So these two guys are actually down below the pilots above.
Oh, here we go with this. Yeah.
And so you have the pilots above, you have then facing the other direction, you have the navigator, and then in this model, the gunner's actually, so in the newer models, the gunner's in the back as well, with like a screen and then remote control. The earlier models, he was back in the tail, all the way in the tail, so he was kind of in there by himself. And then these two crew are down below. So when you have to eject, their ejection seats go down. So you have to be at a certain height in order for them to operate correctly. Otherwise, you just eject into the ground. So yeah. So if you had to eject on launch, on takeoff or landing, it's probably a bad deal. Now, it also had bunks so that you could rest your crews. Because
they were up there for a minute.
It had with aerial refueling, unless it broke, technically as long as you could keep aerial refueling, it could theoretically stay up there indefinite if it never broke. Only the crew endurance would be the limiting factor, but in reality, it'd break, and you'd have to. Yeah, but it has enough fuel capacity with aerial refueling. You can they did it to just say they fly all the way around the world, so navigate it. And even today with the stealth bombers, they'll take off and then come back in 72 hours, fly over, do the mission, and come back and never land.
Come back.
Yep.
Well, Sheila, funny you should mention the durability, but if you had a brand new, let's say, B-52 or whatever, and a brand new modern bomber, due to the less complexity, there's less things to break in the old ones. They technically would probably have more aerial endurance.
If they were brand new, but they're so old
or
now.
brand new renovated. Either way,
Yeah.
because there's so much less to go wrong. There's so much less. There'll be like, how do I put it? What was I reading? I was reading, I think, I read an article in a magazine. I want to say between 1995 and 2000. Okay, don't remember the exact year. And they were talking that basically any American or modern aircraft made past the year 1985 is basically a giant flying computer that's very fragile.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of stuff that's easy to break compared to like stuff back then. Like I know some of you know what Black Sheep Squadron is, based on the book. But the TV show is based on the book about a squadron in the Japanese theater. The plane, they kept the planes of like flying for mission after mission with like modifying parts for other vehicles into, because it was so simple, they could, as long as they could jury rig it together, it would work, you know. Now you try it with a modern airplane, it's going to explode.
Yeah, it's all carbon fiber, so if any of that stuff.
Well, that lightweight. I mean, lightweight, go faster, go farther.
Right.
But Kubrick's,
yeah, but
Mojo 863. As always, Kubrick's planning, production, and execution is laser focused. The degree of detail and translation, is not easily due. It was this is, and we were talking about the interior of the cabin. When they did the shots inside this, it was lighting available. It wasn't really. It was really whatever light was produced inside the cabin. So again, why the shots probably look as real as they do.
Right.
Because
yeah,
you're not
because
getting
you got the dome lights, you got map lights, there's civilian models of those that are used. But here's the thing about those map lights is they really haven't changed since then.
No,
the ones they had on the
C-130s
they're probably the same ones they had on the helicopters, where it had like a bayonet plug that you could push in and then move it around. You could pull it out and then move, and it was on like a curlicue wire. And basically you just pushed it and it had a red filter on it. But basically so you could look at maps or look around the cockpit or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And you could adjust it and move it if you needed to, right? You could also pull it off of the mount and like look around with it, with your hand. And all the equipment had this like black coating patina on it.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
And so this is when the radio, they get the code comes in, and they get this is telling them that what mission that they are supposed to be going to do right now. Another thing I wanted to comment on. Subtle. No. Headed to bed. Buy Joker's t-shirts. Thank you for the poly. Yes. Oh, good. Glad to hang out with you a little bit, Subtle. Always good to see you, my friend. I'm going to go back just a couple of frames here. Something they often do wrong in military movies that they did very right here. No one is ever trying to talk without using their headphones or a mic. Because in a plane, especially in military planes, while they are soundproof, you can't hear a fucking thing other than the sound of the aircraft.
Right. It's all intercom.
And they do that. They never try to not do that. Thank God.
They got the insulation right as well.
Yeah. The installation going around. Yeah, the soft installation going around the cabin. So this is the radio. What was his specific job? I don't remember what this cat did. He was getting all the radio stuff in though. Comms? I don't know if he was a navigator or not. Because up in front is the pilot and the co-pilot. We're looking forward in the cabin.
Behind are the navigator and then the weapons system officer, I think. Or wait, they might be down. Because down below there's
weapons is down.
Yeah.
So
they control the bomb drop. Then there's another one who's an electronic warfare specialist. Whose like job is to like, make sure they're trying to jam,
Yeah.
radar, and all that kind of stuff.
I like this too. If you watch this, he gets and I must have missed it. When he gets the radio transmission of the, we're going to red alert, you're actually going to go fly the mission. He writes in his logbook the time. He's checking his watch now and he writes it in the log. He's writing the time that it came in. It's all very procedural driven stuff, and it's very well done.
Because right now, this is telling him what the plans are, all this stuff. It's very routine.
Wing
and
attack
also,
plan R.
Right. Yeah.
And when he tells Major Kong this, he's like, I told you boys, I don't like monkeying around in the back of my aircraft, because he can't believe they're giving him this specific mission code.
Yeah, he thinks they're joking.
It's like, you guys got to stop messing around. I'm coming back there. Hang on.
Right.
Because
so
none of them can believe. They're like, what the fuck?
Because this is like a random Tuesday. Like, wait a minute. Like, we're doing this now?
Yep. So he's like,
and this, all right. And what we find out the specifics of this plan when they're talking in the war room later on. The event of circumstances that had to come about for Plan R to be activated. It's very specific and very bad.
Right. Basically, the Russians carried out a decapitation attack, and their role is to retaliate. Which a decapitation attack is where all the leadership is killed.
Basically, what we did in Iran.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Basically, it's the president, the vice president, the speaker of the house, like all the way down the chain of command. Like, oh, they're all gone.
Well, in this case, they would think that the base was destroyed, or something. So now they have to
confirming everything.
Right. They have to get it. Yeah, you can send a message to get a confirmation.
And he does, and they do.
And they get the confirmation. So now he's like, it's go time. So he has to go to the safe, and he has to get the codes to activate the nuclear.
Just James Earl Jones.
Yeah.
And he's coming in. Do you think this is a drill, sir? No. If they're using the attack plan R, shit really hit the fan. That guy is always eating something, by the way. Yeah. Always. Every scene you see him and he's eating something.
So I'm looking at a cross section of the B-52. The navigator and radar, or the navigator seat and navigator stuff is below the electronic warfare officer's seat. So it's switched in the real plane.
Right. Okay. I knew one of those guys back there was the electronic warfare guy. And then the gunner is in the back, but in the more modern ones, he also is downstairs, I believe, or he's upstairs.
I think he's downstairs because James Earl Jones is the bombardier.
Right. What I'm talking about is the tail gunner.
They have one of those things in this?
It did. And they sat in the back, like in the tail.
Oh.
But then when they upgraded to the like the H&G model, they put a Gatling gun in there instead of quad 50, and they got rid of the spot back there and they moved it to a remote like joystick link. And so the guy sits in the back with the rest of them now.
Oh,
like
nice.
I think on the top, I can't remember for sure, but there's a spot for him up there.
So again, this is all done on soundstage, obviously, and they had to film this in England because Peter Sellers was getting a divorce. So everything's in England. And so a couple of more interesting things. Slim Pickens had never been outside of the United States at the time this movie was made.
Wow.
So they had to wait while he got a passport to come over and film this. I love that Slim Pickens, the couple, that James Earl Jones didn't know that Slim Pickens, he thought he was just, method acting and in character all the time, when in fact it was just Slim Pickens.
Exactly. He was just, he was just doing Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage.
Never been out of the country. And also he didn't know this was a comedy. the only parts of the script that they gave him were for his parts of the movie. Now, I'm thinking they must have thrown that end at him kind of as it happened, because it's very abrupt and there's no way I think you could think it was a straight movie with that ending. But the rest of the time, he thought this was a, we're on a bombing mission, we've been cut off, all that. And the way he plays it is pretty straight.
Yeah.
It's also, his character is based off he was a test pilot. And he would no shit fly with his fucking cowboy hat.
Mm-hmm.
I forget who the test pilot was. I'd have to dig a little deeper, but that's, here it is. Alvin Tex Johnson. He was the chief test pilot with Bell and Boeing in the 40s and 50s. And this was kind of loosely based because, like I said, a lot of it's just slim pickings. The speech he gives to the crew here is kind of, it's mildly music. It's music if you've been in the military, maybe less so if you haven't. One, he's talking about, if they're issuing Plan R, shit's really hit the fan. They've taken out, maybe DC, maybe some other major cities. And if this mission is half as important as I think it is, then all of you, this crew, despite your race or creed, are in line for some very important promotions and citations. It's just like, Plan R means we're at full war and you're going to drop a nuclear bomb inside of Russia. You're probably not coming back. And we're going to be
trapped inside of Russia.
Certainly not coming out of this mission.
Yep. Like it has been nice knowing you chaps. Off to go die.
And this, I hadn't seen this, so I knew of the writing the bomb down. I was like, well, that's how he chose to end it. I'm going to just write the bomb down.
So this is where we're getting introduced to General Turgison and his secretary. I forget the secretary's name. I could dig it up, but it doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't really matter. So the phone's ringing and he's off, I'm assuming, using the facilities. And she's like, because he doesn't want, he's like, well, get the phone, because he kind of has to. Remember, this is in DC. They're tanning at 3:00 in the morning in a hotel room in DC. This is very strange, but you just got to go with it. And she's getting a call from from a colonel in the Air Force, letting him know what is going on at Burleson Air Force Base, where General Ripper has just launched essentially a nuclear war.
Hey, how's it going, Pops?
What's up, Pops?
Hey, Pops. Who are the two people who think that Shield Wall would I don't get to vote in it, but otherwise there would be three. And she's letting him know that communications are cut off from the base. The colonel has tried to get a hold of them himself, and he can't. Basically, every crappy version of this is moving forward because it doesn't make any sense. He knows what attack plan R is. Attack plan R is, the chain of command is knocked out and it's up to a local commander to launch this thing. It's like, basically, what the fuck? George C. Scott did not like the direction he was getting from Stanley Kubrick in this. He thought it was too over the top. So the way Kubrick figured out how to make this work was he would film the scene about 3 times, 2 of which George C. Scott gave a more reserved, how he thought it should go take, and then another one where he did what Kubrick wanted and did the over-the-top take. And then Kubrick just used all of those. This is where he's deciding, I got to get down to the war room and see what's going on. She's like, but it's 3:00 in the morning. And that's when you, the audience, realize it's 3:00 in the morning. What the fuck?
Yeah, like, what are you guys doing?
You know what they're doing.
Yes,
doing. Peace is our profession. This is seen several times around Burleson.
Because that's an actual slogan.
It is their actual
that
slogan.
was used.
A strategic air command.
Yep.
So General Ripper is at this point giving the soldiers, the Air Force.
So
guy-
we're not.
yeah.
The Marines are the ones that are.
It's
the
Army.
ministers of war.
Army is
praying for-
attacking the base. These
praying
are
for
Air
war.
Force personnel. So all these guys, he's doing like a loudspeaker announcement saying, no one is to come near the base. Don't trust them, even if they, they show you who they are. Don't believe anybody. Open fire, and at 200.
I realize this is satire. This is a satire movie, but it wouldn't take them very long to figure out. Hey, we're shooting at our own.
No. Everything is everything is to the extremes here. Basically following orders without question, regardless of how fucking absurd they sound, and
the conversation those guys are having. Wonder where they got the vehicles.
probably got them from Army surplus.
One of the things to keep in mind is because it's a nuclear, there's nukes at that base, the defenses and armament that they would have there is a lot more and better than they would have at a regular, just, run-of-the-mill Air Force base that didn't have nukes on it.
Mm-hmm. Here we have all the confiscated radios.
Mm-hmm.
And again, these guys are cut off from the outside. The only thing that they're hearing is the voice of their commander, who is a complete fucking lunatic.
You got to remember back then, people had way more trust in authority and the government than they do today.
Also true.
A lot more.
Yeah, Mandrake is closing up the office here, and he finds a radio. And he turns it on. And on that radio is just playing music. And now Mandrake is under the assumption that the United States has been attacked. Of course, if we have been attacked, they're not just going to be playing music on the radio. That is as true now as it was then. That noise you hear, that. This has been a test of the emergency broadcast system. Every now and then they don't do a preceding with that out here, and they just come on with the thing, and you're like, what the fuck? Because you're worried, earthquake, fire.
Right.
We've been invaded. So he's like, what the shit? So he runs out of there down to he's going down to the general's office. So here's where the co-pilot is getting out all the mission profiles. This is cool. They've got all the different profiles in there, and he plucks out R. And R tells this crew on this bomber specifically where their primary and secondary targets.
Yeah, it gives them their target profile.
And I thought this was well done. Everybody has their own envelope, their package of what they are supposed to carry out on this mission. Pilot, co-pilot, all the stuff. Mm-hmm. And he's just reading through exactly what it is. He's talking about what their targets are. Their primary target is in Laputa, which, when pronounced the right way, is dirty Spanish. So, so they're setting their systems to secure, with the specific 3-letter code. In this instance, it is OPE. You, the audience, know that he's locking it in. So now they have to ignore all the transmissions that come in without that code. And then they're flying off to Laputa. General, listen to this. Listen to this.
Missouri.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Where are you from? Laputa? Uh-huh.
Oh. It actually translates the whore.
Oh.
Yes. So funny. So Mandrake's trying to convince the general. It's like, listen, General, it's music. They said they wouldn't be playing music if we on attacks, huh? Wouldn't they, Mandrake? This is where the general goes over. He locks the door. Then he locks the other door. And Mandrake, over the course of this conversation, begins to understand what the general has done. And now he's like, I am going to tell everybody this is some bullshit. But he's locked in the office. And
the whole thing of the Russians only drink vodka. They drink water if they absolutely have to. Yeah.
And I love this shot here from below with the dark, with the the light on his face. It's just it's brilliant. And he's giving his whole speech about communist infiltration. Fact of the matter, he wasn't totally wrong. But they had to portray, what he did was not right. It was his course of action wasn't good, but his actual understanding of communist infiltration at the time,
It was
because
well
it was
intentioned.
satire, they didn't want to believe it, but he was right. He was right. The commies were everywhere. And now that's how it's going to be, eh? Sit down, Mandrake.
It's like,
This
sir,
is the
all of us
war
are going to die now.
This has been used, not this specifically, but this model of a war room has been used in a couple different movies. Watchmen and X-Men First Class. That table is 22 feet in diameter.
What's the movie? Where it's an actual serious movie about atomic warfare. I can't remember what's the name of it. I can't remember
Well,
the name of it. But it's got a very similar room like this too.
Well, and if we look at in the big board behind them, that giant light up board, it was 10 miles of cabling to get the lighting for that.
Wow.
10 miles. That's just absurd. This set is quite extraordinary. Like I said, there are only 3 main sets, and the war room is one of them.
The thing that got me is how shiny they got the floor in there. The amount of buffing and waxing they had.
Well, some poor bastard had to buff the hell out of that.
Get like 500 guys getting paid $2 a week.
When I was at technical training at Chanute Air Force Base in Illinois, there was a building there called White Hall, and it was the second biggest building in the DoD by square footage behind the Pentagon. And I had some duty before my class started, right? They had something for you to do, right, while you're there. So for 2 weeks before my class started, me and one other guy had to mop and wax as much of that building as we could. We only got about probably 20% of it done. Because it was like 5 floors and it went all the way around.
Oh Lord, I always, that was when you're a lower, you're a low ranking guy in the military. That is just one of the things you end up doing, for a fair amount of your time.
Right.
The waxing and stripping and waxing.
And the thing was, it was just something for us to do to keep us out of trouble.
Yeah, they didn't actually care that much.
Yeah. Right.
One of General Turgeson's tics, and you'll see him do this throughout the movie, he is almost always putting a piece of gum in his mouth.
Yeah.
And so the president's asking, so what exactly is going on? Well, sir, it seems General Ripper has launched the nuclear force with attack plan R, and the president's like, I thought I was the only one who could launch the nuclear a nuclear strike. He's like, well, if you remember, under the provisions of Plan R, which you signed, sir, which if you'll remember, you signed. Specifically, the chain of command has been wiped out, and a base commander can launch that.
Oh. Like, oh. Well.
So keep in mind that Peter Sellers is playing the president and the wing command or the group commander. And we haven't seen
the Dr. Strangelove, who I don't know if you see him in the back. No, those are naval officers over there.
Yeah. It does show him in the background at some point.
Now, didn't you say that Kubrick wanted him to play more roles? Oh, yeah, that's him, right?
Yeah, Kubrick. Yeah, there he is. He's in the background. Kubrick wanted him to play. He actually wanted him to play Major Kong, as well as General Turgison. But Peter Sellers just was like, bro. And he'd seen some kind of leg injury as well, which made it harder. The dialogue here is just so funny because the general is defending indefensible positions. It's just hilarious. And he's like, well, you told me under something like the mental profiling that such a thing like this could never occur. And he's like, well, apparently one got by. You don't want to blame an entire program for one bad apple. And he's just going on and on. He's like, well, we need to get a hold of General Ripper. Well, that's impossible. And he just keeps telling him, why can't you do this? Why can't I do this? Why can't I do this? And they end up bringing the army in to attack the base. But the back and forth between General Turgison and the president, what's the president's name? It's a funny, peculiar name. Merkin Muffley is the president's name.
Yeah.
Like I said, but the general is just totally committed to the bit, despite the fact that this is an obvious and horrible failure. He's just owning it.
Well, you can't judge it on one failure.
that face is saying it all.
Like, wonderful.
Yeah, as is that. Gum. So, he's reading the letter now. So there's the transcript from the phone call from General Ripper before he brought down basically the cone of silence, saying, I'm giving you a head start to launch a nuclear war. Basically don't blow it. Yada, yada. And it ends with, we need to protect our precious bodily fluids. and General Turgison in his reading is like, we're not sure what that last part means. And the president's like, it means he's a complete psychotic. And he's like, well, I want to hold off reservation on that until we have all the facts, sir. It's just funny. He always makes that face when he gets totally caught in his buffoonery.
I will say, so that face right there, my father makes that same face sometimes, and it was kind of like a little jarring. I was like, Dad? Like, oh no.
Mando, I need you to stop setting things on fire. That's the main thing I need you to do. Just do that, and everything will be fine.
Oops.
More gum. So they're calling the army base that is near. Is he on the phone? Is he on the phone? This is before. This is when the secretary calls him.
Yeah.
Don't you know where I am, baby? Oh no, of course I respect you. It's not just physical. I plan on making you Mrs. Buck Turgison. All right, I gotta go now, baby. Say your prayers. and then that look, he hangs up the phone and does that. Like, I hope no one saw that. Now the army is getting involved, and and this is where now General Turgison goes over like a 7 or 8 point reason why the attack is still a good idea. Basically, what it all comes down to, and if we attack now, we're looking at maybe 10 million people lost as opposed to 150 if we just ride this out. He's like, I will not go down as the president or the worst mass murderer since Adolf Hitler. Well, sir, maybe if you were worried more about the American people than your legacy. It's just funny. Like I said, that's dark humor there. 10 million people tops.
Or so they think. Dun, dun,
yeah,
dun.
this is all speculatory, of course. So now the president is having the Russian ambassador brought down, and George C. Scott, General George, is like, sir, do you not understand what a giant breach of security that is? I do, General. He's gonna see the big board, and that's what he's pointing at. That's precisely what I want him to do, General. And that face, there's that face again. Oh, Shield, this is so good. Do you want to when they're going over their survival pack, all the shit that's in here?
Those MREs are probably from World War II.
It was
Make a good weekend in Las Vegas.
Yeah, because it had prophylactics in it.
Yep.
And
gold.
Yeah, gold. Yeah. Well, so what it was supposed to be is if they got shot down, they could use the gold to like buy their way, with civilians or whatever, bribes and stuff to help them out. It had a little book about, a little Bible in there.
Holy Bible and Russian phrases.
Yeah, phrases. Yep. So it was basically their survival. It had, food, it had some packs of gum, which you would
9
think,
packs of gum.
right, was also for trading. Gum and cigarettes could be used, especially back then. Because if you go to, Russia, everything was rationed or hard to get. You could give it to kids or whatever to kind of help you out. That was the idea anyway.
And now we got the Russian ambassador.
I was shocked at all the food they had. It's like, wow, they're having a feast down there.
They were, and this was going to be used later on in the movie for something a little bit more dramatic, but they cut it off from the movie because they could never pull it together without everybody just breaking apart. Alexei de Sadetsky is the Russian ambassador, played by Peter Bull, played excellently by Peter Bull. Yeah, he's going over this. You do not have any fresh fish. What about eggs? Do you have fresh eggs? And then the admiral, he wants, and give me Cuban cigars. Well, have one of these Jamaican cigars, Ambassador. He said, and I forgot the phrase here down my brain. Something about something Stooges, and then the admiral just says, "Oh, just call me Stooges," but I forget what the preceding line was, so it loses a lot of its impact. But yeah, the buffet looks really good. A lot of cakes. The general is beside himself.
Yeah, he's like, the Russians are in here. You can't show him the board. He can't see the board. And he's got
he's over here whispering dirty
book and
Russian.
Stuff.
Yeah, I'm saying you're a dirty commie. Again, look at this set though. This isn't sets. This is a big room. Yeah. And you're just getting the different vantage points within that giant set piece. Everybody's staying at their spots on the table. The big board is where the big board is going to be. The lighting in this scene is very interesting as well. You just really have the big dome light over the table, and then you've got the more muted set lighting around that. So the table is always the highlight of the room, and the lights on the big board, of course. And also realize that as all these events are unfolding, from the point where the B-52s have left their fail-safe point, there's about 25 minutes until they are going to be reaching. They're within radar contact of Russia, and then not much longer after they are in going for their primary targets.
I love this part. He's like, he's trying to put this ridiculous cabinet on me.
Yeah, you can't fight in here. This is the war room. There's no fighting in the war room.
Yeah, but he really did have the little spy camera.
Yes, he was trying to take pictures.
Exactly.
It's a little Russian matchbooks thing. It's goddamn right. We can't have him taking pictures in here, sir. And then they get the president. They're trying to get the Russian president kiss off on the phone. Now this is great. Jacob, you were talking about this earlier as they were approaching.
Where do they get those vehicles? Probably the surplus. You
got to give it to those commies. They look like the real thing.
We're going to give it to these commies.
Yep. 200 yards out. Start firing. And then go ahead.
At this point, the army is just like going to figure out what's going on. Like, why is nobody talking at the base?
Yeah.
So they don't expect to get shot at or anything.
they get caught not kind of with their pants down because they are going into hostile territory, but they don't realize they're going into hostile territory.
Which to me doesn't make
all
sense.
The combats. No, it does. Yeah, it's like, well, let's go find out what's going on. They don't realize they've been given orders to shoot at them. Now, on the outside here, all these, just about every other combat shot you see in this is shot with a handheld, probably by Stanley Kubrick. He did most of this stuff himself, which is kind of interesting. So they hear the gunshots outside. So they've got the president on the phone, and when they get him, he has Alexei talk to him first, and there's just Russian, and he hands the phone back to him, and he's like, "Mr. President, be careful. I believe he is drunk." And Peter Sellers improvised just about every bit of dialogue he does.
This is so good. Well,
Alexei, could you turn down the music, please?
Yeah. Well, Alexei, no, Alexei, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. It's a masterpiece.
Well, it starts off with I didn't just call to say hello.
No, yeah.
Well, of course I like to say hello to you. Not just now, but anytime. But I'm calling to tell you this thing has happened.
It's like he's on the phone with a drunk chick.
Yes. So here's the situation, Alexei. One of our commanders, well, he went and did a funny thing. He's ordered his bombers to attack your country. You know how we've always said something might go wrong with the bomb. Well, no. Yes, of course, Alexei. You know, and he's just
the atomic bomb.
But he's making up this conversation, I think, on the spot. And Kubrick had a hard time because he's like, Peter couldn't always do it more than once. So we'd have 6 cameras on him trying to get it all to capture every bit of it and put it all together in editing. But in the episode when they're sorry, well, I'm sorry, Alexei. Well, yes. Well, you're sorry too. Yes, we're both sorry.
Yeah, we're both sorry. Great. Oh, it's so good.
It's unfair to say you're more sorry than I am, Alexei. It's just I can be just as sorry as you are, Alexei. And so basically he tells them they need to call some air command, and I don't remember what it is, because what the Americans are going to do is give them, because they can't contact the bombers because of the 3-digit code prefix, and they can't get a hold of the general to get it. Not that he would give it to them anyway. So they're giving them the flight paths and the targets of all the bombers, so that if we can't bring them back, you're going to have to shoot them down. So they're contacting the Russian air defense at whatever it is. He's like, "Do you happen to have the phone number on you?" Just call information. Okay. And it goes on. It's a hilarious scene. So that scene almost alone is worth it. And I was talking about it. Well, this is all the shots that are going on during that scene, but Peter Sellers was just brilliant. Again, nominated for an Academy Award, and he was in it for 3 different parts. Now, when the ambassador gets back on the phone, though, see the grim look, and he's like, "What is he saying?" And it's Russian. And this is where he talks about. Okay, we haven't gotten to the doomsday. We're going to get to that in a second. Then this is the uncomfortable scene.
Because you've got this poor man trapped in this room with a madman. Mandrake. We're going to die.
Do you know why I only drink grain alcohol and distilled water or rainwater? Why, no, Jack, I don't. Are you familiar with fluoridation? Yes, Jack, I believe I am. And then he goes on to the whole precious bodily fluids want to be, infected with the fluoridation thing. It's quite good. Then they start shooting through the office window and they hit the deck. Oh, the general goes and gets his golf bag, and in his golf bag he has a 50 cal.
Because that's where you keep those.
Well, that's how it was back then. Get over here, man. Drink. The redcoats are coming. Help me load this thing.
Yeah, he's like, feed me. You got to feed me.
Oh, Jack, I've got a bad string in my leg. Gimpy leg, they call it. So here's where they're talking about the Doomsday Machine. And the Doomsday Machine is, if we attack the Russians, it's a series of nuclear bombs around the world that are going to detonate. There's no way to stop it. There's no way to disarm
it's
it.
automated or whatever.
Once it is, it is. And
that to me seems very bad.
George, and we're also going to meet Dr. Strangelove in a second. So General Turgison he's like, this sounds like some commie bullshit, Mr. President. This is as they're talking, George C. Scott's character, General Turgison, walks backwards, tumbles head over ass, and continues talking like nothing happened. That was a complete accident. That was not in the script. He just fell over and just kept going. So they kept it in the script, or they kept it in the movie. He's like, is this possible? I am telling you, Mr. President. And he's describing the Doomsday device. And
he's like,
the judge's like,
oh,
man,
we had one of those.
Doomsday machines. Dr. Strangelove, is this even possible?
Why, yes, because we invented it.
Well, no, they did not invent it. They had.
I'm talking about the Germans.
Well, they had a study gone through the Bland Corporation, thinly veiled the Rand Corporation, to find out if they wanted to produce such a thing. And they're asking him, is you can't disarm it, you can't do it. And he's like, is that even possible? And he's like, it's not only possible, it's necessary for the device to function the way that it should as a deterrent. Deterrents are meant to, make you not want to attack, but deterrents are only effective if you know about them. Why didn't you tell anybody? Why didn't you tell us it existed? Well, he was going to announce it next week at the Communist Party meeting. You know how he likes surprises.
And the Yahtzee guy is like,
he's like, mine here. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. President.
Yeah, he does it. I'm sorry, Mr. President. And again, he was largely improvising his lines. Pieces are profession. This is all the handheld cam stuff. Looks really good. The general's shooting back at the army guys. Mandrake's under a chair.
see, if I was the major, I would be like, this is my opportunity to strike at the crazy general.
How's the general's hand not on fire?
Oh, yeah, exactly. He's grabbing onto the barrel. And this is funny though, because this conversation, and again, all the dialogue in this movie is just very good. When did this occur to you about the communist infiltration with the precious bodily fluids, Jackie? Well, it occurred to me in the act of lovemaking. I suddenly became exhausted, overwhelmed. Basically, he was having an ED moment, is what it sounded like, and that was the basis of everything he has done since. And he fortunately has never happened again. And women are drawn to me; they sense my power, but I deny them my essence. Oh.
Yes,
I see.
I'm sure many women were tripping over themselves to get away from you.
Drawn to his power, Mando. And now his guys have all surrendered. They're all coming out. We surrender. And this is when people should have been putting things together. You're probably not wrong. It's handheld. They were like my children. Well, I'm sure every one of them had you on their mind when they died, Jackie. This is the torture scene. Were you ever tortured in the war? Well, yes. Did you ever break? No, I don't think they really wanted me to. I think they just did it to have a bit of fun. And the general's now worried he's going to be tortured. So he goes in the restroom. A little cold water on the back of the neck. That's great. Gunshot. Uh-oh. He killed himself.
Yep.
So now we're back on the B-52. And again, I love all the screens. Everything just looks so good. They're doing the countdown. So these rings represent miles. There's a missile coming at them. It's about 6 miles out. And they're doing evasive maneuvers, trying to steer away from it as best they can. This goes on for quite a bit.
Yeah, the electronic warfare officers trying to do stuff to, like, spoof it or whatever.
Yeah, it takes it about a mile off course from the aircraft, but then it detonates. And it still causes, the blast of the missile still causes significant damage. Everything catches fire. And this scene, I think, is also very well done. The smoke, the fire, the extinguishers, which are not using, it's not a liquid propellant. Probably it's a gas.
Yeah, it's a
powder type
powder.
propellant
Yep.
for electronics.
Yep. And then most aircraft, even nowadays modern ones, have a vent that you can pull, and it uses the ram air from outside that goes through the because usually most of them will have a heat exchanger, right? So that engine air goes through the heat exchanger, external air as you're flying forward goes across it, cools it, and exchanges heat. Well, that same air, when it goes into that thing, you can open a vent and it'll let that just come in, kind of like on your car, how you can like open the vent, and it'll let all that smoke and all that stuff get vented outside. So
And
it'll
again, I look at this set piece here that they put together from a photo from a British aviation magazine.
Yep. And that's a
just
lot
impressive.
of gauges for the engines.
A lot of gauges.
Yeah.
So we're back in the general's office with his mad doodlings: peace on earth, purity of essence, with each letter being capitalized: POE, EPO, OPE. And this is where Mandrake realizes exactly what it is. But then Colonel Pat Guano comes in. What kind of suit do you call that? Suits. So he doesn't come off as a particularly bright character, but that's the way he's supposed to be. He is very much a do as you're told and don't question things kind of guy.
The whole pre-version thing.
Yeah, I think the general found out you were a prevert doing perversions, and then you shot him for it. And he's trying to explain to him that I have the prefix code to recall the bombers. But this guy doesn't know anything about that either. He has no idea what's happening. He literally is not that far up in the chain of command. Although he is a colonel, which means he should probably have a little bit more information than us, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, people get promoted all the time. That probably shouldn't be promoted.
Yeah, but he's
no.
colonel.
Yeah, he's actually running a battalion of men, not goddamn the army stuff. Platoon, battalion, whatever the large scale thing in the army.
Right.
You'll have to forgive me. I don't know my army terms.
He's probably leading all those guys that.
No, you're right. It's a couple of companies of people. As
yeah, but yeah, he ain't just leading a couple dudes. The fact that he blundered in here is just kind of funny. That would have more likely have been like a second lieutenant or like a sergeant or a regular
something.
soldier.
Now
I'd say at least a staff sergeant.
This scene could have happened if like a bunch of other guys grabbed him and brought him to him. You know what I mean?
Yep. Or going to the general's office specifically. But given the fact that that's where the 50 cal was shooting from, they probably wouldn't send a fucking colonel in there. They'd send somebody else in first to make sure they didn't get shot.
But it does make sense if the colonel thought he was going to be dealing with the general. So you want to send your senior guy in there to talk.
True. Yeah, true. So the phones are all disconnected. This one doesn't have a cable on at all because he's trying to call out. The self-destruct switch is destroyed. They can't. All the radio controls are damaged. They cannot receive any messages now. They are cut off entirely. Not so good. And they're also leaking fuel. So they can't.
They can't make their primary target.
So they're recalculating. So yeah, the major's pretty pissed off here, and he's like, Colonel, what were your orders specifically? He's like, my orders were to find General Ripper and get him on the phone with the president. The president. So the president wanted to talk to General Ripper. He's dead. So the president wants to talk to me. You want to talk to the president? And this he has to explain essentially. If you don't let me talk to the president, I don't even know what's going to happen to you. Of course, everybody's going to die, but it's hard for him to understand that. The payphone, though, he has to use a payphone. They have to come down to this level of communication because all the regular comms are knocked out. So he has to make a collect. He doesn't have enough change to make the call to the operator, and he's asking him, "Do you have any change? You don't think I'd go into combat with loose change in my pockets, do you?" I just thought it was funny.
And that's when he's like, "Yeah, shoot the Coke machine."
They can't shoot that. That's private property. And of course he does. And then all the planes are getting recalled. Everybody's happy. Everybody's breathing a sigh of relief. The general is trying to give a speech, and then they get notified that one of the bombers is still going. And the Russians thought they had knocked them all out, but one may have just been damaged. This is, of course, that one. And they know what the primary and secondary targets are. And the president's like, why don't you put every asset you have in those areas and you can't go wrong? But not realizing that they aren't going to either their primary or their secondary because of the fuel leak. They're going to a target of opportunity. So they're not going to be looking for wherever that is. And the president's like, if it's damaged, can they still make the mission? And I forget what their target of opportunity is. It's an ICBM base. They're flying low, under radar. No one even sees them. And he's getting excited because can they actually pull this off? He's like, "Oh, have you seen if the pilot's really good? Oh yeah, he can." And then he realizes what he's saying. He's like,
wait.
"Oh, yeah."
Night goat.
Oh, good night, goat.
Is
Good
this
luck with
when,
the baby goats.
Dr. Strangelove talks about the mine shafts and the bunkers.
Oh, son of a bitch! Hang on, forgive my overlays. I gotta pull them off for a second because they have locked up. The self-destruct mechanism has made my overlays lock up and not function the way they should. It's very annoying. So give me 1 second, please.
It happens.
I gotta reload. I have to reload my overlays. Which when I say it like that.
And then the general starts going on about the mine shaft bunker gap. We can't have a
gap
because they're talking about the nuclear gap, which is what Matt was talking about earlier about how they in the early 50s there was maybe 6 or 10 nuclear weapons, and now
you don't want the commies invading us for our mine shafts.
Then there are thousands, right? Yeah, exactly. For mine shafts.
We can afford a mine shaft gap.
Yeah.
Okay,
exactly.
here we are. We're back just a couple of slides here, so I apologize.
Yeah.
All right, it was the best I could do. I had to look for the general standing there doing the hand motions. So yeah, after they realize they are essentially screwed, Dr. Strangelove gives them the plan to have the mine shafts. Of course, all of the military and government officials should be there. And he goes over, it's 10 women to every man because they have to repopulate. This is the scene that we were talking about kind of before Shield, where you have your primary and secondaries as far as your arming goes. It's not, you ain't just hitting a button and launching things.
Right. Yeah. But
You're setting the altitude for detonation, all that stuff.
Yep. And they had to do all that, but then the bomb bay doors won't open.
Bomb bay doors closed. Uh-oh. Click, 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 click. And he's telling you, do manual override.
Right. Yep. And they reset the circuit breaker and still doesn't work.
Nope. And I think there's CADs they can blow to open the doors as well, and it's all failing. Yeah. Explosive bolts.
Right.
Again, just essentially force the doors open. But nope, nothing's opening. I'm going to go down there and I'm going to make this work. Hi there, and dear John. This again, the set pieces here are just remarkable. Like I said, it's got to be right up till about here that Slim Pickens then realized it's not it's not just a straight movie.
See how you like all those wire bundles, and there's hydraulic lines and control cables.
Oh, all the overhead stuff. Yeah, that looks really good.
Yep. When the only planes I'd been on before I joined the military were the civilian ones, and all that's covered up on like a civilian.
Yeah, you don't see any of that shit.
Plastic and stuff.
What's happened? Sorry, my screen is going crazy.
So he's got he's got the panel down with all the wires. He's got the cannon plugs and the junctions and stuff, and that's what it all looks like in there. That's legit. That's not not made up. I mean, the circuits might not be the exact for the B-52.
Yeah, but the look of it is very authentic.
The look of it, right? That's what an aircraft one from that era looks like.
Yep. Again, you have the insert overlays based on their latitude, longitude. They put the overlays in, and then they have the radar that shows them where they are in accordance with that chart in miles.
You'd be surprised
yeah,
with all the like cool stuff that they had for planes back then. The B-58 Hustler had like a special lens that it would look through and look at the stars to try to figure out where it was at for bombing runs. It was pretty cool.
How are we doing? We're doing fine. Okay, good. So he hits the right wires together to make that thing open up.
And since they'd already had it set to drop,
yep.
As soon as the doors open, and then it just releases.
There it goes.
Yeah.
Because they're like, "Where's Major Kong?"
He's like, "Where's Major Kong?" And then like bombs away, and he's like riding it like a.
There it is. Yeah, sorry, my everything's getting stuck here. Yeah, I think it's just there he goes. He's riding it like a rodeo cowboy.
Yeah. Right to the
kaboom.
And now the end of the world.
And you can see that this is where he's giving a speech about the mine shafts and the women. And his hand is getting totally out of control here, the alien hand syndrome. And it's just fighting him the whole time.
It's like, my finger. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's just like, give 1 moment, please. And this device is used to calculate fallout. How many years for the specific types of nuclear radiation. It's actually a real device.
100 years.
He's talking about they could hollow out, the mine shafts with nuclear energy. We could be down there almost indefinitely. Can raise and slaughter livestock. The hand's just out of control. Get down.
I like the Russian slips away and starts taking pictures of The board.
This is when, if you look at the
Right?
Russian's face, he's trying to keep a straight face while Peter
Yeah,
Sellers
the actor
is
is-
having his moment.
Yeah.
His arm is attacking him. It's strangling him. So
And-
that
and
glove, the glove that
Yeah.
he's wearing here belonged to Stanley Kubrick, and Peter Sellers thought the glove looked menacing, so he just put it on Dr. Strangelove, the character, without context, and just that was it. But then you understood that's the alien hand.
Right. And again, he's probably ad-libbing all this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just winging it. I don't.
This is where he's
Then
like,
we
we
should-
can't let the Ruskies get a mine shaft gap.
We cannot afford a mine shaft gap. And then the Russian ambassador's over here taking pictures with his watch.
Which to me doesn't make sense. Like, oh, we've just stated that the end of the world is nigh. There's not going to be countries after this. Calm down.
No, again, you can't just, you got to just put all that aside. That's not the point of their conversation, Mando. Point of the conversation is repopulating the species with the mine shafts, regardless of how absurd it sounds.
But like that guy's taking pictures as a spy for the Russian government. The Russian government won't exist after after all this.
And as soon as he says, we cannot afford a mine shaft gap, he stands up. And this is the last line of
My beard, I can
my
walk.
God, I can walk.
Fuck.
And that's it. And then you go through the series of bombs going off.
These
One
are
of
all
these, and I don't remember
footage
which
from
one
tests. Yeah.
is Trinity, the first one.
Yep.
Now, that was not supposed to be. Oh, and the music that's playing over this is We'll Meet Again Someday. Very popular in the Cold War, at the end of World War II as well. The movie was supposed to end with this, just
Like
go
a
with me on
weird-
this.
Yeah.
A custard pie fight in the war room, but they couldn't hold it together because it was just so freaking absurd. Jacob, I think you sent me one of the stills from that, didn't you? Oh no, Copa did. I'll try to pull it up here in a sec. We got a little bit of time. So, like I said, it's all the bombs going off. We'll meet again someday, and then fade to black, and that's the movie. Obviously, it's an anti-war film, anti-nuclear weapons film. Doesn't look at the military particularly fondly. Although the crew on the bomber is probably they're doing what they were told to do based on every bit of information they had.
Right.
They have the over the top
prosecuted their mission all the way
Yes.
to the end. Yeah.
So you can't really fault those guys. Although it seems like God was literally trying to intervene and stop them any way he could. It's like, well, now this is stopped. Now this is stopped. Now we can't get the bomb bay doors open. But by God, King Kong was going to find a way to make it work. And ultimately did, of course. I think the characters, and it's not a huge cast that you're working with most of the time here. You know, Peter Sellers as 3 different characters, George C. Scott, and then the crew of the bomber, and then the major and the general. That's really the main cast. I think everybody did such a good job together. The bomber crew played it really, really well. As far as there wasn't, you know, when the James Earl Jones lieutenant pops out, always like, sir, do you think this is a training exercise? They're trying to see how far we'll go. He wasn't coming at it. If this was a modern movie, he would be questioning, you know, the major's orders and, you know, knowing better and, you know, all of that. Not the way it actually works in the military bullshit. They played it like a military crew. They did a really good job with that.
Right. Also, if it was a modern movie, it would have been a black lesbian.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to
That's
hang
the
on.
hero.
I have to save this image. Save. Then I have to go to my image. It's sideways, so you're gonna have to forgive me. I gotta flip over. But this will show you the custard pie fight that never happened. Like, I'm kind of glad it didn't. I think the ending of the movie with him standing up,
It's much better.
I can walk,
I can walk.
was just great. Open with paints, mother of God. Give me a sec here, guys. Sorry, technology. But like I said, I really, really enjoy this picture. I know it's definitely not for everyone. Rotates. No, still sideways. Rotate. For the love of God, rotate. There it is. Okay. All right, I can share this. So actually, let me save it. I know this is very exciting, folks. As Roman rotates the picture. But I wanted to share the custard pie fight.
We're doing it live.
Live, folks. You don't get this everywhere. Let me minimize my background so we can just see this at least, or for the most part, just see this. So this is the custard pie fight. You can see it's just everywhere in that room. Look at that floor, Shield. Some poor guy had mopped that floor, and now it's covered in pie.
Yep. Yeah, look at that.
Wow.
So, while I get that they were trying to just show full chaos in, the decline here at the end, I think it would have lost its impact.
I think so
other
too.
than that last line with Dr. Strangelove standing up, "Mein Fuhrer, I can walk," and then boom, is just fucking great. And I'm glad the editing worked out that way, and this didn't work. Because like I said, for me, it would have been a bit too much in a movie that already had a lot of too much. General Ripper and General Turgison were just not, played very differently. But you've all, especially if you've been in the military, you've run into kind of versions of these guys. And actually, the group air captain was based on someone that Peter Sellers had served under in World War II.
Yeah, apparently he could play it so well because when he was in the military, he used to make fun of them by pretending to be them, by doing their voice and stuff.
Oh, see, that's great. Actually, we used to have a guy that we did that with too. I'm not going to do it here because if anybody watches the show, you'll know who I'm talking about if you're one of my friends. So, but any last thoughts here about this film?
Just a little follow-up.
We have just a couple minutes, but we have a couple minutes.
Follow-up. We've talked about this before, but when we talk movies from 50s and 60s, even the 70s, a lot of these actors served in the military.
Yes.
So whether the movies are presented positive or negative for the military, these actors have their actual lived experiences that they puts in their role that you guys who served especially can see, wait a minute, I knew a general like that, or I knew a sergeant like that, or whatever,
I will also say that Kubrick's handheld combat shots, like the man on the field shots, are very well done. You got some of that in Full Metal Jacket as well, but here in the black and white, it does come off. It looks very real. It looks like actual combat footage. They do a good job with that stuff, or he does a good job with that stuff. I say they, but he did a good job with that stuff. Of course, editing and all that go into it, of course. But man, pound for pound, I very much enjoyed this movie. Like I said, I know it's not. It's a dark comedy. It's not laugh out loud, ha ha ha. It's not the Ghostbusters. It's not Stripes. It's a dark comedy about nuclear war in a series of events that allowed it to happen. Some of the other undertones here, that's in the notes for this, are the relationship between Ripper and Group Captain Mandrake is very representative about where the United States was coming out of World War II and where England was coming out of World War II. England had been the dominant world power and then came out of that both militarily and economically on the decline, where America was now on top. And it was just it's an interesting dynamic. Kubrick put so many bits and pieces in his films. You can watch it 20 times and see 20 different things in these movies. So anyway, Jacob, did you have any other thoughts you wanted to share on this?
No, I don't think so.
All right, Mando, come on, girl.
I have a dark joke, but I shouldn't say the dark joke. So, but just know there's a dark joke.
This show.
I mean, I don't want your show to get.
But don't bump. Come on, that was funny. Get it?
No, it was going to be. Will your channel get taken down if I say the dark joke? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how bad this is. So it's. You never know. That's the problem.
It is Mando you're talking about. So
yeah. She doesn't have good luck with either law enforcement, inflammatory devices, or apparently beagles. So we'll close her out with that before Mando gets us taken off the air. But I wanted to thank the panel, one for I guess indulging me a bit with this movie. I really wanted to do this one. It's been a favorite of mine for a number of years, and getting to revisit it in a current environment, I think was a lot of fun. And again, Kubrick and Jacob, we were talking about this a little bit before, the hot and cold of Kubrick.
Yeah.
I don't like all of his. They are, Alex. Your precious bodily fluids are safe thanks to President Trump. President. So Kubrick has done some masterful pieces. He's done some less so. I would say, Jacob, that as a filmmaker, he is far better. And like, you have Eyes Wide Open, which is like cringe as fuck. But as a body of work from Stanley Kubrick, say, versus a Ridley Scott, who I very much like, but his clunkers are like all lined up in a row, and they're all fucking just horrible. Whereas Kubrick, you know what I'm saying?
I posted the joke in the private chat.
Very memorable.
Did you? Which? Oh, there it is. Okay, let's see what we have. It's like food. Not everyone. Oh, okay. It's true.
Go for it, Mando. Do it. Do the joke.
Are you sure?
Well, that joke? Was that the joke?
Yeah.
I didn't even understand the controversialness.
So dark humor is like food. Not everyone gets it. Talking about people in Africa. Okay.
That's pretty good.
Okay. That's like one of my favorites, but I've said that to people.
We can't do Star Ocean jokes on this show. Why are we here? Right? What are we doing here, folks?
I've said that before, and people are like, "You're going to get canceled over that." I was like,
"Dark humor is like bananas and rice."
It's dark humor, folks. It's satire. The whole Roman of the Empire look at movies is largely based on satire. If you don't get that, and you're watching this program, and you're saying, "Well, that was dark and inappropriate," have you seen any of the shows that we produced over the last 4 years? I make fun of that kid on the Down syndrome kid, the fetal alcohol syndrome kid on The Last of Us.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Corky.
No, that was from last week. That's when I wanted to put the Green Day picture up of Billy Joel Armstrong, but all I got was Corky from Life Goes On. Again, it's dark humor, folks. It's
just like midget
comedy.
Jokes. You would think they're funny, but they always come up a little short.
So we'll go around the horn here. We'll say our last little bits. Next week, we are going to be doing a free range show. The week after that, based on Jacob Ironside's recommendation, we're going to be doing underrated musicians. The juxtaposition of the show we did last week with overrated musicians, which should be a lot of fun. I'm going to pimp either Rock Fan or Nick to come back for that if I can get him. And poor Mando, this movie, the black and white, sucks the energy right out of her and makes her want to doze. It's like she's sitting in Grandpa's living room. So we'll thank you so much to the chat. We had a nice. What your favorite? Hang on, I'm going to bring that back up here. are the ones that make me feel very stressed. I consider Strangelove to be a strong thriller alongside, and I would agree with that. Funny thing is, and I don't want to go too much over here, but the American Bomber crew with Slim Pickens as Major Kong, they're going to go end the fucking world, but you're also kind of rooting for him to get through. It's not even consciously doing that, but you are. They're going to do the wrong thing. They don't know they're going to do the wrong thing. So you're rooting for them because they don't know that they're going to do the wrong thing. That made sense. I hope it did on rewatch. So, again, thanks to our chat. Thanks to everybody who showed up over on YouTube and X. And if you're watching this on rewatch at a later date and enjoy our in-depth deep dives into movies. We have many of these we've done over the last 4 years. We just talk through the whole thing. We talk about all the little bits and pieces of movies. It's a lot of fun to do, to really just examine it from the guts out as to what the movie is about. It's fun to do. So thanks to the panel. We were missing some folks tonight. I hope everybody is doing okay. Joker, you need to get your fucking voice back. Sammy is probably getting picked apart by Cuban prostitutes in Florida. And Dempsey, Godspeed, brother. Godspeed. So we'll go around the horn, talk about what we got coming up, and then we'll go bomb La Puta. So Shield Wall, sir, what's up? What do you have coming up, my friend?
Thanks for having me on. A lot of fun. Great movie. It's always fun doing this with everybody. I always learn something cool about film and history and things like that. Great being on here with everybody. What do I got coming up? On Tuesday, I'm going to be on Jacob Ironside's show. We're going to be doing Star Trek, the Dominion War, continuation of that. So I think we're getting towards the end of that, maybe a little past the middle.
Close. Yep.
Yeah. So that's always fun. Tune in for that. And then
we have
next
9
week,
episodes left.
Yep. And then next week, on Thursday, I will be here for the Free Range. So those are fun. We talk about current events and news articles and stuff about pop culture and whatever we kind of want to talk about, really. So it's a lot of fun. But yeah, thanks for having me on. It's great being on here. Getting all the information from Matt, and nice being on here with Mando. Yep. And Jacob, of course, with the memes. So
yes, the meme master of the interwebs. So thank you, Shield Wall. Yeah, this was. I thought you would enjoy this, especially given your background.
I really like the air crew scenes and stuff.
Yeah, so that's my favorite part of the movie is the B-52 scenes. Though the General Turgis and George C. Scott falling backwards completely by accident and continuing like nothing happened is a single moment in the movie is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I also like the portrayal of the president when he's on the phone with the Russian president.
Yeah, even if you don't want to watch this whole movie, look up and find those clips somewhere on YouTube because I'm sure they're out there. Where President Merkin Muffley is talking to the premier kiss-off of the Soviet Union. Fucking brilliant, so funny. So meme master of the interweb, Jacob Ironside. Again, thank you for what you did tonight. I looked oddly unfortunate and accurate at the same time. So excellent job of that. And Sammy, again, strangely hot. So what do you got coming up there, Jacob?
Like Shulman said, we got Star Trek, Deep Space Nine, Dominion War, and I'll be here next week.
Right on. I'm in the middle of X-Files season 3. We just crossed over. It was Piper Maru 1 and 2, which are great episodes. Then we watched some fucking stupid one about South American pottery and a skeleton in a jar, and this guy turns into a jaguar or something. It was fucking awful. I did not give a fuck about that episode at all. But anyway, they're not all winners. They're not all winners. Mando, when not setting things ablaze or torturing animals, what do you have coming up next? I'm joking, folks. I'm joking. I'm kidding.
Gonna get like a call, like hello.
I know, man, I was getting a knock on the door. I'm getting a joke.
I'm doing all right. So mostly this Sunday, be expecting on my friend Trucker Rob's channel. We're doing the rolling of the dice and all of that good stuff. Apparently, my character may or may not survive this encounter because the person that we're facing is a giant, and my character has now gone blind. Yay!
Oh
So.
my.
Blind combat against a foe that is like 3 times your size with a giant great axe is always fun.
That does not sound healthy. That sounds unhealthy, in fact. Golly. All right. Matt, when your bladder is not bursting, anything in the works for this week?
Well, I won't be going to gory specifics, but the bladder problem may have been resolved. That being said, hail for the male bladder. Yes, let us cheer. Wednesday night is overbooked, so hopefully JB Twist will be back. Next Wednesday, me, him, Ego, Brad, and Larry Lawrence. I can't remember his last name, but we'll be talking about wrestling and a road to WrestleMania, which we're very rapidly coming up on. Then next week I'll be on Roman's show, and possibly Tuesday on Jacob and what he's got going on. So that's kind of my schedule.
Right on.
Bladder and
thank you. That's good news. And thank you all for this panel. Again, the chat and everyone watching on Watch and over on X. Cannot forget about you folks. You actually are the biggest part of my audience. So thank you for being here. Without you, why am I doing this? I could just be talking to Mr. Spider under my keyboard. That's not as much fun as you would think. When I say not as much fun as you think, I mean not fun at all. So again, next week, Thursday, 5 Pacific Standard, we're going to be doing Free Range. The week after that, we're going to be doing Underrated Musicians. And maybe the week after that, Tombstone. But I got to see how my schedule is. I got a lot of music stuff I'm working on. And that's just, I can only do so many things, folks. I'm just one man and barely that. Ask Mrs. of the Empire. So thank you for hanging out with us. And until next week, yeah.